What is up, Carmination? Welcome here to Jock Market Mondays. If you haven't been tuning in the last, what is this, the third one we've done on a Monday, I think? this is number 3. Yeah, number 3 of Jock Market Mondays. We're going to try to do this every Monday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, which is just before lock. So lock is technically 8:15 tonight, but we know that with Jock Market, they tend to lock a couple minutes before that. So just aim for 8:12, 8:13 maybe. Do not start putting in bids at 8:14 because chances are they're not going to go through. If you have no idea what Jock Market is, go to dfskarma.com/jock-MKT. That's the how to. That'll show you all the how to play stuff that we put together for you guys. We also have a lot of videos as well. We like to do these videos because it's such a unique platform. We actually like to do screen sharing where this is not just an image. That's actually my phone right now showing you as I do things. You can go along with it. But we do have a matchup today of the Chargers and the Raiders. And so what we're going to do is if you have any questions, ask them and type them in the chat. We'll get through your questions for tonight's matchup. But the first thing we want to preface what we do with all of our Jock Market Mondays is there are 2 different types of contests that have 2 completely different strategies on how you get to make money on them. If you see in the top of my phone there, we have the free $1,000 NFL Monday contest. That's their $1,000 free roll, which is in the title of this video. And then we also have the NFL Monday Night Market. That's the cash market. So you're not competing against anybody in that. You're simply just buying a share of player, buying shares of players, hoping that those players outperform their expectations, their projections, and if they do, you make money. Regardless what anybody else does in that contest, as long as you do that, you make money. Looks like Bales' camera's going in and out here.
Yeah, I don't know it just keeps turning off on GoToMeet.
All right, and he's back. And he's back.
What's happening?
But yeah, so in the free roll, they give you $250 of play chips, and what we've been saying for the last month or 2 months now is the strategy to win money in the free roll is going all in on one player. Find a player. It can be a cashy player. It can be a crazy GPP nobody has in player. It depends. With showdowns, it can go either way. But you want to go all in on a player and just hope that player outperforms more ROI percentage than anybody else. If they don't have to finish the best, if you get somebody right at the bottom of the barrel, they just have to outperform everybody else in terms of ROI. So, since we got a couple minutes here, 18-ish or so, let's focus on the free roll first. So, who are some people that you think players should target for going all in, trying to win some money in this $1,000 free roll here?
Right now, just looking at prices, I think the number one guy that sticks out is going to be Josh Jacobs. He's too cheap, I'm assuming at this point, because people don't know how healthy he actually is. He looked pretty good in practice. I'm not sure if he actually did any contact in practice, which is concerning, but he looked fine running. And we obviously know that the Chargers aren't really going to stop the run very well. Jacobs is going to get all the early down work. He's currently under $1.50 per share. So I think if you're just looking in terms of a cheap guy that comes with a ton of upside, it's Josh Jacobs. Keep in mind, super risky. He could aggravate his ankle. He could just not play full snaps. Honestly, I have no clue. I don't have a gauge on what he's going to do just because you have Peyton Barber coming off of that massive game against Miami. You have Kenyon Drake who's going to take snaps as well. I would assume still between the 3 of them that Josh Jacobs comes with the most upside because I would guess that he's going to get the red zone work. Outside of that, it's tough because these teams are kind of so condensed to the point where that Darren Waller is going to get plenty of volume. Hunter Renfrow has just become a very solid option in the slot. And then Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, along with Austin Eckler, are the top options for the Chargers. So you can really take your shot on any of them. I think a guy that comes with quite a bit of upside is Henry Ruggs because of his speed and his potential for a deep touchdown. The problem in this particular matchup is that obviously the Chargers do like to drop 2 deep safeties to kind of take that away. If Jacobs in the run game's working well, they're going to have to pull them up, and that's when Henry Ruggs can take it over the top. So I do think that he comes with some upside at the moment. Keenan Allen is cheaper than someone like Ruggs. He's cheaper than Eckler, Carr, Waller, Williams, and Herbert. That's too cheap for Keenan Allen. It doesn't really matter his role. But $2.30 I feel like is a really good price if you can get Keenan Allen there. The problem is we're still what, 15, 20 minutes out. So you're not going to be able to get Keenan Allen here, I would assume. But if you can, by all means, feel free to grab him.
Yeah, so that's something else that we always are hyping about in the free Discord. By the way, if you're not in there, we give all of our Jock Market insight for free. Just go to dfskarma.com/chat to get into our free Discord, and just look for the NFL Jock Market channel, as well as we're gonna have free NBA content for it. We sprinkle some PGA in there as well as MLB. But you don't want to go crazy bidding. At 7:55, we still have, like you said, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes before the true lock happens. And so you don't want to start going crazy bidding, because if you bid on someone, more likely than not, with at least 10 minutes left, you're going to get outbid unless you bid something crazy high. So just as you saw what I did here, as Bales talks about players that he's targeting, especially for the all-in free roll, I tap on the player and I tap on that star icon, and that's just what makes him a favorite. So what I do then, everybody he talked about, I made a little star icon there you see next to their name, made them a favorite. I tap on favorites, and so I'm just watching these four. So I mean, there's not that many people in a showdown, but if you're on the Sunday slate, there's 100 plus players you have to look through. So okay, so he was talking mainly on Las Vegas players: Jacobs, Renfro, Ruggs, and then also Allen, because of his cheapness at this point. So that's all the players I'm going to be focusing on. Of course, for you, focus on whatever you want to. I'm just saying for this as an example of how to use this feature, this favorite feature. So while we have those favorited, let's go over to the other, the cash markets. These are ones when you bid on a player. So if you see there, Justin Herbert's $13.02. If I'm going to bid on a share of him and get a share of him exactly at that price, then I'm actually paying $13.02 out of my own bankroll. So you're actually buying your shares of players, hoping they outperform. Now, Herbert, of course, is the top projected player on this slate. So if he does finish as the top, every share you have of Herbert gets paid $25. So if you do happen to get him at $13, you make $12 on every single share, almost a double up at that point. But because this is a different strategy, because we're not going in on one player, and this all depends on your bankroll. Everybody that gets a share of Herbert, doesn't matter if they have $10,000 in their bank account or in their bankroll or $100. Everybody pays the same amount for all these players. They're all doing the same thing of trying to get a certain amount. You don't want to overbid. You don't want to pay $20 for a player who's projected to finish at $18, because that's just dumb. So there's a lot of strategies that comes on overbidding, what we call the max IPO, which, speaking of which, we have a new tool dropping for week 5. Make sure you check it out. Bales is we put together a tool called our max IPO tool, or the max money market. We got a fancy name for it. I just forgot the name of it at this point. There's a fancy name for it.
Not good hosting, Travis. Not good hosting.
Anyway, there's a fancy name for it. But that being said, there is a tool on our website. You can view it inside of the Discord chat room as well. But it has all of the data. It's like an API. All of the data from Jock Market, along with what we project is the most you should possibly spend on a player in the bidding round, aka the IPO, where you're not overbidding and putting yourself at a higher risk of getting a situation where you lose money on the player. But that being said, in this particular type of market, this cash market, who are some players that we want to target if we're just going to get a few shares of whatever, let's just say 5 different players. We're going to get a few shares of 5 different players. Who would you look at right now based on the current pricing?
So the number one guy has to be Josh Jacobs. And I'll preface this by saying, if you don't want to play something risky here, then don't take him. There's a ton of risk involved. We don't know what his role is going to be, but that's baked into his price at $4. At that price, he essentially needs to finish in the top 10 of the slate to make his money back. And then obviously you have upside for 5x if he's still at $4. A little more than 5x, but you get the point. I think that it's just way too cheap for his touchdown potential. The other two, I will say the safest options, also probably more or less the highest upside, are going to be Justin Herbert and Derek Carr. They're the two most expensive. I think that either one has the potential to finish first on the slate. I probably bid either of them up to potentially $16. I would feel a little more comfortable at 15, but Herbert's already at $14.55. If Herbert's the cheaper one, I probably just take Carr. He's super safe. The chances that he doesn't finish top 3 in this slate would be really low. We would need a lot to go wrong for Carr for him not to finish there, just based on how he's playing for the season. Then I do like Mike Williams, he's essentially the same price as Keenan Allen. I think that I might prefer both of them to Darren Waller, who's slightly more expensive as well. But of the group, Mike Williams is the one that sticks out just because their prices are all very, very similar. And then a little bit too cheap is Hunter Renfrow, who we kind of talked about earlier, but has a pretty major role in the slot. He's pretty consistent, and then obviously he does come with a bit of upside if he does find the end zone. And comparatively, like he's $5, whereas Mike Williams is sitting at 10. So I do think that Renfrow is a little underpriced.
So, based on current pricing and where you see pricing finishing right before lock happens, who's like number one player in the cash market? You're like, all right, they're already too expensive. I'm going to be fading this person, or this person. Who do you? What does it look like right now that the market is like over projecting on? If you're going to pick one person,
Um, to me, it probably looks like I would probably honestly say Darren Waller, most likely. I feel like the market kind of, or I guess the perception of him is that he's like this elite target monster. He's not really. Obviously, he had 19 in the first game, which everyone kind of went crazy over, as they should have. 19 targets in a week is ridiculous. Since then, he has 7 against Pittsburgh, 7 against Miami. Um, the Vegas offense really spreads the ball around, whereas you're kind of getting much more condensed in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So I would just prefer their volume to Darren Waller at basically the same price. Mike Williams is a little cheaper, but at the same time, like I understand that the pure upside for Waller's there. I wouldn't take the shot because I think he's a little bit too expensive, and there's just two guys at basically the same price that I would prefer.
gotcha. If we're going to go all the way to this bottom of this list for people who actually are active and actually are going to be seeing the field, based on current pricing in the cash market, and this will also probably play as well for anybody else who wants to go crazy in the free roll. Who's the cheapest person right now that you think is is worth a shot? So like Zay Jones had that amazing game this season. He's right now 19th at the $1.20. Would we go any lower than that, or is that the lowest? So if we're talking bottom of the barrel, who are you looking at?
The lowest that I probably go, that's really tough. I probably don't go to Zay Jones. I know that he had that one pretty big game, but uh, maybe I guess if you want to get ridiculous, you can go someone like Alec Ingold, where they just sometimes run him out at wide receiver, which is ridiculous in its own right. But John Gruden doesn't care. The lowest that I personally would take this probably Jalen Guyton at $2.15. He actually does play quite a few snaps. I think he was at like 64% last week. Obviously, not getting a huge target share. He only saw 1 last week. He saw 2 the week before that. But week 1, he saw 5, and he has plenty of speed. So it is viable that he could catch, a 60-yard touchdown or something. And then at $2.16, you just made quite a pretty penny off of him, especially if he potentially caught 2 or something. So I think the lowest I probably go is Jalen Guyton. But if you want to go cheaper than that, I guess the 2 that kind of stick out a little would be Foster Moreau and Alec Ingold, even though I don't think that I would be able to pull the trigger on either of them.
So this question is only for the cash market because, like I said, again, the strategy for these free rolls, if you want to cash, is to go all in one player. But if you're talking up Josh Jacobs because he's such a wild card, we're not sure his workload. Are you also I don't know if the word is hedging. Are you hedging your Jacobs shares by getting some Drake, by getting some some Barber or what have you, or is it something where Jacobs and don't worry about the other ones, just you're betting on Jacobs doing well, or is there that hedge strategy on getting multiple shares of multiple Las Vegas running backs?
Um, so normally I would say that it's relatively okay to do that. For me and the type of player that I am personally, I probably just go more or less all in on Jacobs, and I'm more of a either I'm going to win or I'm just going to lose that money type of thing. With the Raiders specifically being the team that we're looking at, I strictly go with Jacobs. I could see a point where Kenyon Drake plays well under 50% of the snaps, gets a few targets, and that's basically it. I could also see a situation in which Gruden just literally uses Peyton Barber, but none of the three are safe. So if you're in the cash market and you're like, oh, I'll just hedge my bet with all three of them. Imagine if like Jacobs goes all the way down the field, Drake catches a couple passes, and Peyton Barber's the one that scores a touchdown. Now all three of them have stolen everything from each other. None of them are going to score that well for you, and you're kind of out money because you hedged yourself into it. Whereas if you solely use Jacobs and say Peyton Barber all of a sudden goes off weirdly, you're not losing that much. You're just losing what you had on Jacobs instead of, three times of what you could have lost there. So for me, just Jacobs. I probably skip Drake and Barber, but I think it's a viable strategy overall. I just don't think it is when you're dealing with John Gruden and how unpredictable he is a head coach.
So give me I was gonna say based on ownership, but I guess we can just say based on price. Based on current price of the cash market, who's the cheapest guy right now that you can fathomably see making the end zone based on this game script that you have for this game?
Alec Ingold probably. They just do such weird things. He caught a 1-yard touchdown last week, reasonably, where to the point where you actually truly believe that it's not just a long shot. I would say Jalen Guyton. I do think that he can get over the top of Vegas, and if that happens, obviously he's in for a deep touchdown. Outside of that, like Josh Jacobs at $4.30, it would be shocking if he doesn't find the end zone. And I guess the only way that I would think that he probably wouldn't is if they more or less give the ball to Drake or Peyton Barber in the red zone.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you are tuning into this and you're thinking to yourself, what the heck is Jock Market? This, as we've been explaining this entire time, we're buying shares of players, and the shares, the number you're seeing, that amount of currency is tied into what Jock Market is saying they're projected to get, or they're projected to finish at, or what have you. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a player at a certain price and have them score above their projections, which more often than not means that they're gonna give you guys a profit. So just an example, if we get a share right now of Josh Jacobs, so if the market closes this very second, we still have, I don't know, 5 minutes left. So if the market closes right now, we get a share of Josh Jacobs at at 435, and then he finishes, I don't know, let's just say 6th place, then you get paid $8 for that share. So sure, that one share just made like $1 and change, but I mean, you're getting multiple shares, multiple players. You're growing your bankroll, being able to get more and more and more and more, and then that ROI, that how much money you're actually making, just keeps increasing. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to the free roll right here. So we got about 5 minutes left to lock. So if you haven't downloaded this yet, go to jockmarket.online. That is JOCKMKT. You're not spelling out market, just MKT. That's their branding. JockMKT.online. Download the app. It's, as you see on the screen, Google Play and iOS app store as well. But I'm gonna put in a bid here for Jacobs on the free roll just to show you guys how it works if this is your first time seeing or hearing about Jock Market. So we just hit the bid button right here, and then so you see right now in the top right, his current price is $3 in the free roll. So just for example's sake, let's just say it's going to end in 2 seconds. So I'll do 301, and then I'm just trying to put as much of my 250 play chips that they give you in the free roll, as much of the 250 chips into that. Now you could do the math in your head, you can pull out a calculator, or you can just do the type a number over and over again until it gets as close to 250 as possible.
That's my strategy generally.
Sometimes you don't want to do the math, so you're just like, okay, I can do that. Well, so also you doing the math, there's also a 1% fee in the IPO. So when you're buying and selling a player, you pay 1% extra, and that comes out of your 250. And then in the cash market, the same thing. If it's the live market, so after this initial bidding happens, it's 2% fee. So you got to pay 2% extra on every bid. So you have to factor that number in as well, because nobody's got time for math. I could tell you right now, at 301, I can get 82 shares of Jacob for cents under 250. So if I hit this button, review order, submit offer, then I'm the highest bidder because previous highest was $3. And so if it locked right this second, I would have 82 shares of Jacob, which means I would have more than anybody else because I'm the high bidder. And if he is the best ROI, then I win the free roll. That's how you do bids. That's how you do bids in the with the strategy and the free roll anyway. So we got a couple more minutes here. Go back to the cash market. If you're, I don't know if you're doing just like out of all the shares you're getting right now in the cash market for tonight. I know you talked about a lot of players. Is Jacob still the one you're going to get the most shares of? If you're not having like equal shares of everybody, like if you're going to do at least one more share than anyone else of a player, is it Jacobs?
E- yeah, most likely, just because there's so much upside there. I think you can make a case for someone like Hunter Renfro. He's still definitely too cheap. I do really like Mike Williams at 1052, but that's getting expensive. And I would say at least get some of Herbert and Carr at their current prices. I could easily see the slate ending with Herbert and Carr 1 and 2. At their current prices, though, they basically would need a top 3 finish to make money. If they finish, if the both of them finish in the top 4, you're going to make money as well. So at the current prices, I think getting Herbert and Carr is really smart. And then the upside isn't near a guy like Josh Jacobs if he would lead the slate, but it's just much more likely that Carr and Herbert lead the slate. Plus, they're significantly safer. The chances that Carr or Herbert, finish out of like the top 10 or something are slim to none. Whereas there are instances, I think, or situations tonight where Josh Jacobs could easily fall out of the top 10.
Gotcha. I'm trying to think of how many shares. So I think I might do. So I know you said Jacob's still your best bet. I'm trying to figure out strategically of how many you want to do for if I'm going to get at least a one of everybody you said in theory. I mean, you're saying Herbert, you're going to max at 16, and we still have a couple minutes left. He's at 15.25, so I feel like he's going to hit that 16 mark. Are we? If 15.25, are we just? Do we still bid 16 because that is your max, or should we avoid it because it's probably going to get crazy near the end anyway with a minute left?
I'd probably bid it because in the last 2 minutes, he's only gone from 15 to 15.26. So I do think that there's at least a chance that you can get him within 16. But it seems like people are kind of moving over to Keenan Allen just shot up. He was in 6th, and now he's up to 3rd. Mike Williams also.
Are you saying Mike Williams at 11.06 is above his max?
No, I probably pay anything below 12 for Mike Williams. I think Josh Jacobs at 5 is pretty smooth, though.
All right, you gotta make sure we go back and check the free roll now, because every time we've done this stream, I have not made any free rolls because I'm just yeah. All right, where is? Oh, he's still down there at 350.
Looks like I lost my free roll order. That's pretty ridiculous since I bet on Peyton Barber, who shouldn't even play tonight.
Oh my gosh! I think I got the bid in at the last second. As soon as I got it in, you see the top screen says IPO closed. All right, so the free roll just closed. I got my bid in the last second. I think I lead Josh Jacobs shares. We got probably another 60 seconds left of the cash market here. All right, so I'll tell you what I got right now. So I got Jalen. I got five of Jalen. I got 10 Jacobs. 5 Renfro, 5 Williams. I don't have any of the quarterbacks yet. If you're choosing just one of the quarterbacks, I know Carr is cheaper, but is it still pretty much a neck and neck in terms of they're going to finish equal points because it's going to be a shootout kind of game?
Yeah, but I would prefer Carr for cheaper because I think he's much safer. I think that Herbert's floor is actually finishing potentially out of the top 5. Whereas Carr, I don't really see that happening. I think just the way that Las Vegas plays, he's kind of the safer option. But, Carr doesn't have the pure upside of Herbert. He doesn't have the rushing potential. And if this game turns into a shootout, Herbert is one of the top quarterbacks in terms of that type of fantasy performance.
I feel like I have to get I'm just going to get 5 of Ingold. I have to. Because he's going to get that stupid touchdown.
As he scores 2 touchdowns tonight.
Yeah. 5 shares of him at his current. I bid $1.45. 5 shares with $1.45. Oh, no, never mind. I missed it. All right. Save myself $7.32 when he does not score.
Probably perfect. A smart move there, though.
So yeah, so it just locked. So like I said, it locks exact. It doesn't lock at 8:15, even though it says 8:15 is the lock. It always locks a little bit before that, so it has time to process all the orders. So looking at what we have right now, that we were not bid on, I had 5 Jalen, 10 Jacobs, 5 Renfro, 5 Williams, and I got 5 Carr. No Alec though. And then let's go check the. I keep getting out the window. Go check the free roll. Did I get outbid at the last second? I probably did. Something crazy probably happened.
Yeah, I have nothing on the free roll tonight. That's
Oh,
how.
you know what? I am the leader of Josh Jacobs shares, 61 of them.
That's not bad.
So if Josh Jacobs has the best ROI, we win the free roll. And if you guys were like, what is the first place of the free roll? It's a nice $100 right there. It pays out to the top 50, I believe. Yes, top 50 get money. First place is $100. And when you win free rolls, $1,000 or more free rolls, so like this one right here, and you're in our chat room, you're part of Carmination, you do get a shirt, a free Karma shirt to go along with it. But now the game's underway, now that everything's locked, and you can see what I have there. I have 61 Jacob in the free roll, and then go back to the live market. You can see all the plays I have there as well. A lot of people, they do buying and selling. You can do buying and selling during the market. What I've done, I'm trying to do less of that because I feel like I always get myself caught in shorting someone, and I feel like it always bites me in the butt. So I've stopped the shorting as it's punched me in the face a few times, and we can explain it on the next stream. But good luck tonight, guys. If you win even a penny, let's see those screenshots. You can post them on Twitter or join the Discord for free and hop them in there. But yeah, go everybody that we have on our teams. Not the Chargers, not the Raiders, just everybody that we have. All of the shares. Go all of those guys. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.